But fortunately, yeah, sorry, I'm very sorry to annoy you. It was meant to be on, but I think shortly we will get some light. So I will not keep you in darkness. I know some of you do things in the dark. But I suspect I won't allow you to be doing that for so long. You know why we're all here. And thank you for coming, for being here. Sorry for the sitting arrangement. We want to be as informal as possible. You know, tomorrow, and I want to emphasize this, tomorrow is the town hall meeting. Are you with me? We have a full function tomorrow with Mr. Sowore. But we said, let us host our brother who is visiting the country. Are you with me? So it's not a very rigorous, yeah, just put on some, maybe you want to bring it closer here, Shegu. Yeah. Just put some lights. But so, we're not going to have a full program as such, but I think what is important is for us to I'm not pretending I will not be an MC for today. But I just want to introduce myself as Sunday Ogunrombi as the host for this evening. What I'm also going to do, especially for our guests, is to welcome you to South Africa first. It's not your first time, of course, but to say that you are safely at home. You with your own people. Just a bit of a background. One of the things that I would just say, into hand over our coordinators, I think most of us would have almost been associated with what a WhatsApp group that formed, which we call Omodua. It's a non-partisan, it's a non-affiliated, but it attempts to bring together the major Yoruba to be a WhatsApp association. Though some people would want us to be, we're not yet. But what we also know is that many of us are equally on the Take It Back WhatsApp group. We're also on Sowore, there's another one. So today, without distracting from your main program here, what we want to say is that we thought we should afford ourselves the opportunity. Of just an informal meeting today. So we don't have a printed program, of course. But before I hand over, I would just, I don't know all the names, Mr. Sowore, of the people here. And there are better people who are better placed than myself. But we have two major, to my knowledge, or I know of three actually. But we have certain established Yoruba associations in the country. We have the National Association of Yoruba Descendants, we have the Association of Yoruba Descendants of South Africa. I hope I get it correct. So perhaps I should start the introduction from this side, or maybe I should ask them to also stand up so for the people. Sorry for the bad lighting, we'll fix it. Dr. Agbeni, just to introduce yourself.
Vice President, Association of Yorubas in Diaspora, South Africa.
And my leader also here.
Orúkọ tèmi ni Ààrẹ Ṣèyí Akínlẹ́yẹ, President National Association of Yoruba Descendants, Southern Africa, Ẹgbẹ́ Ọmọ Yorùbá. Ẹ ṣé o.
I won't do anything here. Let me just start from this side. Dr. Okeshokunwabi. Okay. Oh, ẹ jẹ́ bá mi lójú ẹ ti ẹ kí n kọ́ pé.
Iná tẹ̀ ẹ̀tàn yẹn ni.
Màá tọ́ náà yẹn sí. Ẹ bá mi.
Ẹ káalẹ́ o, ọmọ Olúwa. Orúkọ mi ni Ajíbọ́lá Adébóyè. Èmi ni bàbá ẹgbẹ́ National Association of Yoruba Descendants in Southern Africa, NEDSA. Ẹ ṣé. Ẹ káalẹ́ gbogbo èèyàn. Orúkọ mi ni Wòlíì Àgbà Samuel Babátúndé Balógun. Èmi ni igbákejì alága ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá ní South Africa.
Ẹ káalẹ́ o, Lékan Ayọ̀ Yusuf lórúkọ tèmi, èmi ni chairman.
I don't have a program, as I said, mi ò ní ètò, but entawa to wá jọ̀wọ́ torí ẹ̀ta jọ̀wọ́ náà ni. So I'm going to now officially, if you allow me, step back and give it to the very able, the very competent, and with all sense of appreciation. And maybe without making any speech, because me on the PVC, I hope I can get one. And honestly, the truth of the matter, you can disagree with me, but one area we need to reconfigure ourselves. But debate on the platform here, but many of us, no matter how much we try, no matter how hard we try, John Phillips lórúkọ ẹ tó bá gbé orúkọ Yorùbá débi tó change ẹ sí orúkọ Gẹ̀ẹ́sì o lè fọwọ́ bo Nigeria nẹsẹ àbí bó bá wẹ kó dí irun ẹ bí ọ̀rẹ́ mi kan bó bá wẹ kó wọ ṣòkòtò mi ò bu anybody o mo láwọn ọ̀rẹ́ tó ń dá irun náà èmi ò sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ o mo kàn sọ ní pé tó bá wẹ kó gba Saudi pálí wọ́n ní bọ́ọ̀nì ọ̀rẹ́ mi kan Spain náà ti di Tókunbọ̀ lórúkọ ẹ̀ ọ̀rẹ́ professor nínú mi mo ní bó bá wẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ born in Spain sorúkọ pálí ẹ̀ kọ́ bá rí ẹ̀ ìràwọ̀ ẹ̀ àwọn pé yóò bá ní. That's the truth. And truly bàbá ẹ̀ lọ fún sabatika náà bí sí Spain náà bí sí ọ̀tọ̀ ó dẹ̀ gba Saudi passport. No, money for kọ́kọ́ abúlé tó di Benin Spain sí, he remains a Yoruba man. Of course, Kogi gan Yorùbá ni, Ìṣẹ́kírì gan Yorùbá mú ọ. But so, bó bá ṣe wùn wá ká ṣe, àwọn ọmọ tá a bí síbí gan. You know, I don't want to be religious, but ṣe à ń pé àwọn tán ìgbà tí àwọn Israel lọ tó kó ẹrú títí ìgbà tó yàtọ̀ nǹkan kọrin ìlú wọn gan òótọ́ dé bá wọn so ẹ máa tọ́ bá ní kẹ́ wá kọrin ìlú Ègún ní many of you ẹ máa wọ́n máa tọ́ àbí porúkọ kan tó ní Q nínú tó ní C nínú some of you òótọ́ máa dé bá yín ó tọ́ ni ó lè di Saudi kó gbé Saudi passport sọ́wọ́ but few of you ló lè pe QA
Orí Yorùbá ń pè ní Orísun.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tọ́ bá ní tàbí many of you ò lè pé. Number NGC, many of you will pronounce it. So, at the end of the day, I have Emi bow from Bobaonti who spent time on to support Mr. Sowore for a number of reasons. I want to because of my Jambwanwa. That's the truth. That is the truth. So, if you make time, is commendable. So, I really appreciate your presence. And it's not a to pursue a public job, a thankless job of looking for political posts in Nigeria is almost a thankless opportunity. It's just because to bani humility láti lè fi how can we help a greater cause as opposed to a private, because private cause ní ti máa lọ practice mi láàárọ̀ tí mo jókòó bẹ́ẹ̀ tó pè mí mi ò ní dẹ́lọ̀ tí n bá fẹ́ pass time à bọ́ sórí platform mama so ìbò kan tó bá pè mí gan mi ní gbàgbọ́ ẹ̀ because ó máa disturb the thought process mi ni entertainment ni fún mi but at the end of the day a dẹ̀ gbàgbé wípé nǹkan tó lé wa kó Nàìjíríà gan is because there is no peace at home.
That's right.
Kò yẹ ẹlòmíì tó bá wọ internet bóyá máa rà kó foreign citizenship ló ń wá káàkiri ẹlòmíì máa sunkún pé ó máa fi àsòtí fóònù ìwé So at the end of the day, if we want South Africans to respect us, don't let us deceive ourselves. You only respect somebody. Bragging pie. Personal view, me disagree, but to economic migrant, Nigeria is a good place. Many of us are economic migrants. We are not visitors here. So tabani leti odun toda, we can arrogantly say to South Africa, we go benu song. But our come was Zimbabwe 20-something years ago. They were very happy. Okay. So let's get it right. We must thank those who have made their time. We thank Mr. Sowore for making himself available for this office of super contest. So I will leave it at that point. With my own personal thing. Already. But let me just say this. I will hand over now. We thank you for coming and you feel at home. Mr. Sowore, I think you will decide what to do.
Advocate to grow could see programs that are designed for tonight. The purpose of the meeting is to welcome him, to talk to him the little we can. Tomorrow there will be question and answer session at the State Theatre in Pretoria. But I feel make sure the little time we use it judicially. Then after this, so this is my hand over and to get coordinator take it back in South Africa. I'm sure we should all be able to actually before she even stand up, I want us to give her a round of applause. They belong to the other room, according to our president. But they are not, and we should change. And the good thing is South Africa, they don't belong to the other room. We all know. Okay, so we are very happy. We want to take the lead. That is they are not on the other room. So now that's why we are very happy to have a woman, a coordinator, who is also a woman. At the back there, we follow Alori, take it back, Sowore, one boy, and all sort of that. She has been a wonderful woman. Please, can we give her another one round of applause? I'll hand over the introduction of our guest to Mrs. Kerry Sholari. Welcome.
Ekale gbogbo le o. Ekale eyin baba ọkọ mi àti ìyá ọkọ mi o. Mo kí tọkàntọkàn. Great coordinator. Okay, thank you for that permission. First and foremost, I really want to appreciate every single person who has taken his or her time to be here. It means that you love our country, Nigeria, and that is why you are here tonight. I also want to thank Advocate Ogunrobi for making his home available to us. In fact, we are so delighted for this great, warm welcome. I also want to thank, all the leaders of the different Yoruba groups for taking their time within this short space of time to be well represented here. I want to thank my husband, who has been a pillar, who has been very supportive, who has been encouraging, because you understand that, especially in the Nigerian context, it is not easy for a man to release his wife to be out there doing what other men do. So I really want to appreciate and acknowledge him. Mr. Olushola Sholari, I appreciate you. Wow. I thank the planning committee members of the Take It Back movement. They have been wonderful. They have been unstoppable. They have been supportive and very committed. Take it back! Take it back! Take it back! Show them the way. I appreciate you, my people. You have been very supportive and we have been standing together. We have a formidable team. And I know that at the end of this journey, we are going to eventually take back Nigeria and make it a better place for all of us. I want to acknowledge the entourage that has accompanied the set man on this table, all the way from Nigeria. I acknowledge Dr. Josh. He is here. That is our cameraman.
Oh, okay, the cameraman.
He's my best friend, you know.
What about your husband?
This one, you understand? Because we boxed each other, you know. He's been also very awesome. Not very easy working with him, but we find a way of getting along, you know. I acknowledge the beautiful young lady there, Motsura Yobanubi. The one, whatever you are watching live on the Take It Back, that is the lady behind the scene. So acknowledge her. And then I acknowledge somebody who is very honorable, who is decent, calm, that we happen to serve in the same executive cabinet, 99-2000 academic session at the University of Lagos Students Union, Honorable Francis Shonubi, aka Mani Congo. These form the formidable entourage that has come with the set man on this table. Without taking much of your time, I just want to give you a little background of who this man is and why I am standing here. This man has been someone who motivates me. I admire his strength, his courage, and his openness. He is a very passionate being who enjoys to advance, you know, the needs of the oppressed. He is someone who believes in good governance. He is someone who hates corruption and, you know, taking advantage of the citizenry. He has been in diaspora for a while and understands what an ideal system should be. He's someone who believes in implementing policies that will embrace and accommodate the majority of the citizens. He's someone who believes that Nigeria is supposed to be a home for all, not for some. He's someone who believes that it is high time Nigeria has a rebirth, because what is going on in Nigeria is so demeaning. It has brought disgrace and embarrassment to all of us, and we can no longer stand this shame. In his interview yesterday at ETV, he made a comment that is causing a lot of, you know, ripples in South Africa and all around the globe, when he said that Nigeria is the big brother to South Africa. I agree with that, but unfortunately, we have failed to be the real big brother, because a big brother is supposed to lead, a big brother is supposed to direct, a big brother is supposed to support, a big brother is supposed to give and take care of its own. But unfortunately, Nigeria has failed in that aspect, and we do not want to continue having a pity party. It is time that we rise and take our rightful place. You must put your money where your mouth is. That is, you must walk the talk. Enough of complaining. It is time to act. And so therefore, he has decided to sojourn to South Africa, to come before your honorable presence and to present his agenda, his vision, how we can together as a people make the change that we desire, what we want to see. So I will leave the rest of the talk to him. I'm not going to speak for him this night. He is right here. Whatever you want to express, feel free to communicate, even though tomorrow is where we are going to have this serious engagement and interaction. But tonight, he will give you a brief of why he is here. He is no other person than Mr. Omoyele Sowore.
Thank you, everyone seated here tonight. I just want to thank the members of AYITSA here, the National Association of Yoruba in diaspora, also Odua People's Union, right? Yeah? Yes. I happen to have a little history with Advocate Ogurumbi's house, right? And a few years ago, I came to South Africa. That time, as a publisher of SAHARA reporters, I came to attend a conference in Sandton. And Dr. Dada, who had moved from New York, said, you know, I want you to meet some Nigerians who follow your work passionately. I thought it was going to be a 5-person event. It turned out to be almost 20 people inside here. And we had very interesting conversations that I felt might have made me to start to think about the future of Nigeria more concretely than I used to. I have been everywhere, to be honest with you. For those of you who know about my history at the University of Lagos, when I left the University of Lagos, I actually did a brief stint with the OPC, the Odua People's Congress, to the extent that I was the first person to take the OPC in those days to attend a protest with Chief Gadifahimi when we were fighting for Abiola. I have a very funny story to tell about it. When we were about to leave for the protest, the OPC people said we should all wear charms, ammunition, our amulets. So some of them carried japa, that is toys. Some carried snail shells, everybody, you know, some wore their clothes. And they looked at me and said, why are you not wearing anything? I said, I've worn my amulets and charms inside my heart. And when we got to the police, I stood in front of the police and the police tear gassed us. Some of them had never been tested in battle before and they ran and fell inside the ditch. When we were collecting them from where they were hiding inside, some of them, not all of them, I saw the one that was carrying the tortoise, and the tortoise was scratching his chest. Because tortoises don't react very well to tear gas. I said, Chief, what happened to you now with this tortoise? You are supposed to... I said, you know, I just got the tortoise from somebody. I'd not tested this thing before we came to battle. But the rest is history today. The reason why we wanted to be in that revolutionary movement at that time was because we thought if we fought from another angle, if we broke Nigeria into maybe a smaller piece, or we form a formidable force, we will be able to break the back of the people at the center in Nigeria. But like every other thing that we have tried ourselves with or tried our hands on, they were able to infiltrate the OPC because the people at the center, they have an agenda that is very clear. They are there for their own personal interests. They are not fighting for you. So what they did was, they did whatever they can. Before you knew it, the OPC fell into two and then became a problem unto itself, and later even a problem to Yoruba land at some point. But I heard this was later resolved. But I left Nigeria in 1999, knowing that the kind of democratic experiment or rule we were having at that time would not solve my own problems. We have reached another level now, where in resolving the Nigerian problem, we must step to the next level. We must upgrade our thinking about how to take the country back from all these people. And that is why I offered myself to do what some people would say is unthinkable and some had said was impossible. But right now, as things are looking and as we have challenged it, it's starting to look very possible, even more than and faster than we thought. Because nobody thought that within 5 months, thank you, of declaring to run for office as an aspirant, we will be able to cover the kind of ground we have covered. We will be able to talk to Nigerians and also unite Nigerians around just one common agenda to free Nigeria from the shackles of oppression and subjugation by its own people. Nigeria is facing its own apartheid right now, when South Africa had broken its own in 1992. And that is why this meeting is very important. I'm going to just speak very briefly because of tomorrow. Before we came here, we had a very, very interesting meeting with our brothers from the Southeast, the Ohanes Indigo. And they had very solid questions. They had concerns. But one thing I saw in all their expression today to me, or to us, our team, was that they really, in an attempt to say that, well, we might even leave Nigeria alone, they are saying that if we can get a Nigeria that is just and fair and equitable, they will be happy to be part of it. The reason is simple. Why do we feel comfortable in another person's country like South Africa? It's because when you get here, somehow you find comfort and acceptance and an ability to grow.
One engagement ní alẹ́ ẹjọ́ kọ́kọ́ lèmi kàn fẹ́ gbà yìí ní ìmọ̀ràn àti ìyànjú. Òun ni wípé nǹkan kan ṣe ló ń ba ìlú yẹn jẹ́ tèmi tì ní, and it's corruption. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò sí nǹkan méjì, corruption. Corruption yẹn ní ìsìn lèmi fẹ́ yẹ pé bóyá irú engagement tí mo ní mo lè má ní mọ́ lọ́la bí ẹ bá ṣe máa plan yẹn, because corruption in Nigeria according to my analysis ó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti orí bàbá ó ti bọ́ sórí àwọn ọmọ bàbá náà ti fi sínú oyún inú tí wọ́n tí bí ó ti wà níbẹ̀, because nígbà tí títì tí ò da ẹ ti allocate ẹ̀ fún family kan and they kept on collecting money lórí ọ̀nà yẹn kó wọ́n lè ṣe. With that now, nínú planning yẹn tẹ́bá lè bá wa fi sí náà how to tackle corruption, not to put a painter as nǹkan tí mo mean ni pé maybe no in a city maybe we have a governor, yes, and bóyá ibi báyìí ò dá ní ìsinyìí he doesn't do anything akọkùn and they are working. I call them a painter. They just paint the old over the old structure. Ẹjọ́ bí ẹ bá ṣe máa ṣe yẹn, inú wa dùn ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀. Mo ò dẹ̀ dá wá síbí báyìí, ẹgbẹ́ mi lọ́wọ́ sí tí mo fi wá síbí báyìí nìyẹn. Tí ẹgbẹ́ rẹ̀ ti lọ́wọ́ sí yẹn, ó túmọ̀ sí wípé àwọn Yorùbá wọ́n support yín. Ẹ ṣé.
Okay, Dr.
No, Prof.
No, Dr. Yes, Luisa. Yes.
What is wrong? What kind of appetite is this?
Okay, Luisa.
Good evening, sirs.
Good evening, everybody.
Yes, I've heard so much about it. It's a pleasure meeting you for the first time. I think I just need to start by just saying some few things. I left IFE in 1989. I read law. I am an academic and I'm also a researcher. And I could remember between 82 and 85, I worked with UBA of Accra. It used to be 69 kobo to $1. I didn't read that on the pages of books, but I was involved as a full-time staff of United Bank for Africa Limited. But I have this feeling. What we need at this point in time, you see, we are looking for a savior. But one thing I can tell you, God will not come down. It needs people like you. A savior which we need in Nigeria now is how to restructure our nation. That is the starting point. The way Nigeria is, structured, I'm talking about the systemic aspect of it. Even if you bring Obama to rule Nigeria, will fail. I'm talking because my area of specialization is trade and investment. And I'm talking because I have a wealth of experience and as a researcher. So I'm convinced, if I left to me, what we need at this point in time is civil disobedience. How we're going to stop election 2019. Yoruba ní ojúbọ̀rọ̀ kọlọ́dún gbọmọ lọ́wọ́ ìkùnà. Ẹgbàgbé ẹ̀, ṣẹ́rí gbogbo tó ń lọ yẹn is a sheer waste of time. And I would have expected people like you, because we've read so much about it. What we need now, action. I'm talking now in Shomode. OBJ became the president with the help of God and OPC. Some people will not understand what I'm saying. But for once, the northern, the powers that be in the north, I'm talking about northern establishment, it dawned on them that except they found a way to pacify Yorubas, there wouldn't be headway. So they had to look for somebody they thought would serve their interests. That was how OBJ came, into the picture again, because they knew we have a long history of sustained opposition. What we need now, we need people like you. The same thing, Losima, happen. You can't do anything about it. The way Nigeria is structured now, it can implode. We have two options. It's either we restructure or we unbundle. Sherry, that is the only thing. That is the only thing. Because I won't deceive you. My own impression is that some of you are wasting your resources. I'm sorry to say this. I want my little Arabian. I mean, Latin Nigeria don't Arabi action I need. And please, we need people.
Jerry, I know the reason why I call him, I didn't even know that this is what he's going to say. But Tebaranti, earlier in the day, South Africa just looked like a pivot point, like where things just begin. But with what Doctor just said now, I mean, maybe you'll be thinking about your strategy. Thank you. I think I'm quick. I'm all of them.
Good evening.
Last one there, but I mean.
Good evening. My name is Olani Abodedele. I'm a publisher of a Nigerian Voice newspaper here in South Africa. I'm a community commentator and an activist. Nigeria is a failed state, and that's the honest truth. We don't need to paint it. I'm an optimist, and also I believe in the power of positivity. But also, when we need to be honest to ourselves, as the first speaker said, we cannot take back Nigeria through the ballot boxes. If you look at Africa, from Cameroon to Rwanda to Zimbabwe and everything, the votes of the people were stolen by the guns, by the military. And Ekiti election gave us an indication what is going to happen in Nigeria. As far as I'm concerned, Nigerians are not ready. And Nigerians are not yet poor. Maybe until we begin to open the dustbins and eat from the dustbin, people will stand up. My solution to the problem of Nigeria is a revolution. Comrade Sowore, if today, my question is this, if today we have to toe the line of revolution, are you willing to go that way? Because as far as I'm concerned, that is our problem. Our problem is not through the ballot boxes, because they will hijack it from us.
Can I just make a quick suggestion? Anybody, Dr. Shoya, Juma Soro is the same thing. Any divergent, I mean, something different. Okay. Dr. Shola. Good evening. Good evening, sir. My name is Shola Irioye. I'm a medical doctor. My name is Shola Irioye. A medical doctor here in South Africa, and I'm one of the activists in the Yoruba community. But generally speaking, I think I believe a lot in what you're doing. I think there's a need for it. My only grouse, my only issue is I think you probably left it a bit too late. Or one, because it's a marathon. That's my own view. One, we don't know which party you are going to contest under. Two, a lot of other people, if anybody comes out in support of you, all we hear is what is he really, which party is he contesting under, how is he going to raise money. What I would have thought is have a proper plan in place whereby we capitalize on Nigerians in diaspora to raise money. Because Nigerian election as it is now, if you want to really win in Nigeria, it's all about money and politics. And the diaspora community can finance a solid candidate if they are well organized. In the diaspora, I'm sure we have as many as conservatively, maybe 2 million Nigerians. 12 million Nigerians. That's a lot of people. Yes. Now, if you capitalize on this and we come together and each person donates $10 every month for a period of 4 years, you can imagine how much money will be available to run to prosecute a campaign. And I believe that is the way to take Nigeria back. Not revolution, not... That is my own view. Thank you.
Okay. I'm Alegus Olabode from Efalaye, local government in the state. I call you my president because once a president is always a president. I know you are a unionist and I'm also a unionist. Take it back! Take it back! I'm here tonight. I'm an aspirant also in Nigeria. I'm contesting for Senate. I came here tonight purposely because of this question. Nigeria has been ruling with a set of cabal since 1960 and they are just revolving themselves. Either they are in PDP or in APC. And I see them like, sorry to say, Malema said, and I quote, when he was talking to one of their leaders, he said, Nelson Mandela sold out because of his age. This question goes thus. I know you have good intention for the Nigerian. We are just opportunes. I call everybody here, we are opportunities to be here because a lot of souls are dying. A lot of leaders are swallowing the swamp. But if you are opportunes that this set of cabals, so-called cabals, you gain support of them to become the Nigerian president, are you ready to deal with them despite the fact they give you support? Let's know.
I'd have loved to do a response after 4 questions, because otherwise it gets a little bit too saturated. And I will say here very quickly that I do not like to brag too much, but the first answer I will give to the question is a brother who said if there will be a revolution, will I be able to lead it? My question will go back to him. If there's going to be a revolution, are you willing to leave South Africa to join in Nigeria?
100%.
Yes. So you might as well buy your ticket. We leave on Monday. The reason I say so is very simple. You see, when revolutions want to happen in countries, sometimes they are designed, sometimes they are not designed. It is something that comes from will as opposed to templates. That's why there has never been any template for a successful revolution in the world. Some people plan a revolution, they find themselves in the other side of revolution, victims of revolution. It happened recently in Egypt. The people who did the revolution are all in prison. The people against whom they did the revolution are all in power. That is why we have to be very, very careful when we throw the words around. I am for a revolutionary change in Nigeria.
Yes.
It answers the question the last person asked about cabals. I am against cabals supporting anybody for the president. There's no way the cabals can support you to become Nigeria's president and then you turn around. You have no idea how the cabals operate. Before they give you anything, even a local government councillorship in Yoruba land, they will take you to a place they call Igbale.
Amule.
They will make you drink some concoction. And they will film you naked. If you try to do any nonsense against them, your photographs will be out the next day. It happened in Ogun State with Benga Daniel. And that lawmaker that was holding something to his... it's the way it works. But the real revolution that needs to happen is for us to go and confront them in the areas where they think that we can't confront them. And if they mess up, the revolution starts from there. If we win this election against the old guards, that's a revolution. If we don't win, and we are conscious enough to say, look, this is the beginning of the fight for the soul of Nigeria, that is a revolution.
Take it back! Take it back! Take it back! Show them the way!
If we win and they steal the election, they will be confronted with a revolution. Because nobody can try what they tried during June 12 on any Nigerian or Nigerians anymore. So, if you are looking for a revolution, you can join the Take It Back movement because it's a revolutionary movement. And that answers your question about what is the political party you want to use. I ask you, which political party in Nigeria today do you know that can win election apart from the two behemoths, the APC and the PDP, and maybe APGA in the southeast? The other political parties that you know about are probably an appendage of the other political parties that have been in existence. But there are just a few political parties that are not tainted, but there are not a lot of them. When we started engaging with political parties, the PDP went and bought them over and formed a coalition we then called COP, which we describe as the cup of sorrow. Yes, the APC is also there doing its own. I agree with the person who mentioned Ekiti. But don't forget that the reason Ekiti was the way it is because the man they wanted to defeat in Ekiti, that's how he got to office as well.
Sure.
So, when it was time to dethrone him, they used the same method. In fact, the person who was consultant to help APC rig election was the person who helped Fayose to rig election in 2014. That was Obanikoro. Am I lying?
You are right.
So, when you are dealing with these characters, you must understand where we are coming from. If you also think that there's another revolutionary way to do this, apart from the way we prescribe, you are a Nigerian. You are entitled to do it. You are entitled to go and lead it as well. I am just saying that I'm presenting myself in a way that I believe we can do this revolutionarily. How did they do it in South Africa? They started a political movement called the ANC. When the ANC started, people were telling them that they cannot even do it. Let me give you an example. If you read Mandela's book, Long Walk to Freedom, when Mandela was put in prison on Robben Island, he was there, he's been there, he didn't know what was happening in town. And then they brought newer ANC comrades to the island. And when they became rioters, the prison authorities said, these ANC guys are even more wicked than Mandela. They called Mandela, come and help us talk to these rambunctious ANC people. Mandela saw them, and they said to me, are you the person they call Mandela? You are begging us on behalf of your oppressors? Is this who you are? The reason I'm telling you is that if this generation cannot do it well, our generation, the system will have to confront even a more dangerous generation than us. The best foot forward, the most peaceful way to resolve the Nigerian question is what we are doing now. To answer what Prof asked about restructuring, I've answered the question today and I will answer it again. People who are asking for restructuring should be very careful so that you don't fall into the hands of the con men who use buzzwords to turn Nigeria into a corner. I have disagreements with not restructuring. I support restructuring, but I don't trust the people who are clamoring for restructuring. I am a Nigerian. You are a Nigerian, right? You are young people. The people who are clamoring for restructuring don't invite us to their meetings. They are the old men who are working with the aid of walking stick. How can somebody who is 84-year-old restructure Nigeria for me? It's not possible. The only thing they have ever done about restructuring Nigeria is to restructure it into their pockets. Look, some of you were not around, and I'm not saying it to diminish you, to understand how they betray people in Nigeria. I was with Abiola in 1993. The people that betrayed Abiola were the same people who are asking for restructuring now. If they had allowed 1993 to take place, Nigeria would have been restructuring itself since 1993. Do you know what was happening in Nigeria in 1993? This cell phone that we are celebrating now was supposed to come to Nigeria before it came to South Africa. But because they annulled the election, and our people supported the annulment, that's how Nigeria started to fall apart, and Nigeria never got back on its feet ever since 1993. So we have 1999. Somebody mentioned that the OPC fought for Obasanjo. I will agree with you and disagree also. When they were looking for somebody to pick a Yoruba land, they already knew Obasanjo's DNA. That he's not in support of any progress anywhere. Obasanjo is for himself. I'm saying it categorically. So it wasn't because of OPC that if it was true that OPC brought Obasanjo to power, Obasanjo would not have destroyed the OPC as soon as he got to power. That was one of the first things he did. So let's us be very, very cautious. Not to say that all your positions are not relevant. They are completely relevant, and they will continue to be relevant. Because one thing I agree with in your submission and submission is that without justice in Nigeria, social, economic, and political justice, Nigeria will be confronted with even a mightier, objection or subversion than we are presenting now. I will round up here by telling you that Ken Saro-Wiwa was the best, most peaceful opportunity the Niger Delta issue could have been resolved with when he was around. They ignored him. And when they were trying him and sentencing him to death, he said, this is the last time you will find the nicest face. I'm summarizing it and paraphrasing it. After me, say you will not find anybody who will take the struggle on this level. Do you know how much it cost Nigeria since he was killed? Billions. The people who they call Niger Delta militants today, their salaries are more than what the NYC people collect. In fact, they collect more money as monthly allowance than most of Nigerian civil servants who are level 14 or something. The Niger Delta militants, 30,000 of them are entitled to 135,000 naira per month. They call it feeding allowance and I think bush allowance, whatever they call it. Because when Ken Saro-Wiwa was asking for peace, we refused. And at any time you provoke them, they go and blow up all the pipelines. And there's nothing you can do about it. So, if the offer that we have now, for these old guards, this corrupt, useless, powerless, but whom we have made powerful, old guards, refuse to leave, they will not have people like us to contend with in the next phase of the battle. That's all I can tell you. But I believe that an election of one of us who we trust can still make the kind of difference that will bring about a peaceful, prosperous, and progressive Nigeria without long. Thank you so much.
Take it!
Bye.
Take it!
Sharing in summary ni pé àwọn tá ní benzin wọ́n jókòó wàhálà dé bá wọn. Wọ́n gbẹ̀yìn jáde wàhálà dé bá wọn. Bó jẹ́ iwájú ilé náà ni wàhálà dé bá wọn. Revolution náà ni ẹ. Àbí? Please let's give him another round of applause. And we'll take one round of questions again because the time is been the whole day has been.
And we have to eat, by the way.
We still have to eat. So enjoy. Shoki, bye. Okay. No, I think you pay it. Then I will now call.
I remain Salas. We just want to me Salas. Me, the question. Mr. Sowore to become Mr. President. But my sort of Yoruba, my sort of Hausa. Money support, money support. Like I said, I don't have a question for you. But I want to admire your. It's not even a courage anymore. It's more than a courage. Because I've never even thought or dreamed to even contest for my constituency or local government. Because when I left Nigeria, I thought, bye-bye. Ọlọ́run ṣe òun ṣáà ti kúrò tó ń káwọn ọmọ mi mo kóyàwó pé ṣáàjì máa bá tèmi lọ Nàìjíríà alpha ṣe bówó ló máa ná mi ká máa sẹ́ndì but ó jù yẹn lọ even where we are today we are suffering we might hold the ID, the passport, whatever, but there are still that differences from born South Africa to the natural South Africa. There was a time when they were starting BE belonged to anybody that have citizenship and ID. There was a time they say anybody talking about being Louis before 94 could qualify for BE. Black empowerment. I want to take citizenship. But what I'm saying is this, that you challenge me and I'm honored to be here. I just want to give you more support that what you are doing to challenge a nation. Even though I don't even challenge my family. I'm just saying it, but for you to challenge a nation, not even a nation, not ordinary nation, a nation, Nigeria. You understand? But I'm praying. I'll be happy to see this. And I pick one thing from you, that it might not be 2019, but the journey have started. Yeah. And it have started. Let's go there.
It will be 2019. Take it back! It's 2019, no.
2019. Mr. Mbongele Sowore, you know when I greeted you, I said, Aluta continua. I don't know if you can remember SAP 1991. Do you still remember? Yes. I was a speaker student, government. One university, I won't make mention of that university. That's where I knew you for the first time.
Volume louder, please.
Èmi á sọ Yorùbá. Màá fẹ́ jẹ́ kí a mọ̀ pé ká gbébọn ká gbàdá kọ́ ni revolution. I don't believe in such things. Because we fought Babangida to a standstill. I still remember. We are the one that said, no, you can't make Naira 5 Naira to $1. When it was 60 kobo to $1. I still remember. I was a unionist, but I was doing engineering then. I remember one of my lecturers that saying that you can't graduate in this university. I told him, you can't try it because you can't change my marks. I want you to have it at the back of your mind. As you said, we've started the journey. And I wish every one of us well to achieve our goals. Yes. You are not alone. You have a lot of supporters behind you. The only problem Nigeria is having is the constitution of the military that we are using right now. That's the only problem that we have in Nigeria. If you can follow real federalism where we imbibe presidential system in the United States, Nigeria will not be where they are today. The only thing we need to fight for is that to make sure that we followed real federalism. If you can follow the real federalism, I think Nigeria will be a better place to stay. I left Nigeria when I was fed up. I started my construction company at the age of 26 years old. I left a company called First Aluminium as a site architect and engineer. I looked at it and I said, look, I can't be getting peanuts when I was making a lot of money for a company. As at 1995, monthly. So I now say if I can make 300,000 for myself monthly, then I should be able to be a better person. I started a company with 36,000 naira. but Nigeria messed it up. And I left Nigeria at the age of 41 years. I said, well, bye-bye to Nigeria. If Nigeria don't want me, let me go to another country and start my life afresh. It's so pathetic. It's so pathetic that Nigeria is what it is today. I still love Nigeria. I want to make a mark in Nigeria. I want to go back home and still continue my construction company. I believe that if our constitution is being done in a way or being revised to a real federalism, Nigeria will go a long way. And we attain our big brotherlism in Nigeria as it is. Thank you very much.
Last person, quickly.
Take it back. Take it back. Take it back. Take it back. Orúkọ mi ni cousin, but people call me Kelly. I'm the founder of PGW. We're into property, cryptocurrency, and forex. So I'm one of the planning committee for the Take It Back movement. I just want to give an advice because I don't believe in guns like I don't believe killing can solve Nigeria problem. But I believe we need two things: vote, and we have to monitor the election to get the consent of Nigerians within Nigeria and abroad. I believe that the party should try and show Nigerians example of a truly democratic party. Whatever party Take It Back is going to run under should be truly democratic in such a way that there will be a presidential debate. That is going to automatically call the interest and the attention of Nigerians everywhere, wherever they are. If they put it on TV today, Nigeria presidential debate, even business people who are not Nigerians, who have interest in investing in Nigeria, will be willing to look at the contestants and give their support in any way they can. So I believe that having a truly democratic party is going to differentiate Take It Back party from every other party in Nigeria. And that is how I believe the movement can get the attention of everyone home and away. God bless you. Take it back. Take it back.
Okay. Down here. So can we just do so that you can hand up what's that permission?
I can't know what going on. I do go for Ọlọ́run fún ìpàdé yìí. Mo fẹ́ gba àwọn aṣíwájú wa tuntun tá mọ̀ pé wọ́n máa dé ipò ààrẹ Nàìjíríà. Mo fẹ́ gbà wọ́n níyànjú kékeré. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ fi rí síbí níṣẹ́jú kan. Mo dúpẹ́ fún Ọlọ́run pé Olúwa fún wọn ní oore ọ̀fẹ́ àti jáde fún ohun tá a ti ń retí. Mo pe àwọn tó ń darí wa tẹ́lẹ̀ máa ń sọ fún wọn pé arúgbó ọjọ́, àwọn ẹ̀mí arúgbó ọjọ́ ni máa ń pè wọ́n. Mi ò mọ bí ẹ fi lè túmọ̀ ẹ̀. Àwọn ẹ̀mí arúgbó ọjọ́ ló ń darí wa. Ìlú ti lajú ju pé kí àwọn ẹ̀mí arúgbó ọjọ́ máa darí ìlú lọ. Ẹ̀mí arúgbó ọjọ́ ni wọ́n pé tẹ́ bá wò pé ẹ̀mí arúgbó ọjọ́ ohun tó ti pẹ́ tí ò ní tó ti pẹ́ tá a bá láyé lọ́n pè ní arúgbó ọjọ́. Ṣùgbọ́n ìyànjú mi fún àwọn incoming ààrẹ wa ni pé kò sóhun tó tóbi tó kọjá àdúrà. Mo gbàládùra wípé ibi tá à ń lọ ilẹ̀ lérí Olúwa mú wa débẹ̀. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ sọ ni pé no retreat, no surrender. Ibi tí a bá ti dúró sí, àwa kì í bẹ̀rù ohun tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ ń bẹ̀. A ò ní jagun Nàìjíríà, ṣùgbọ́n Olúwa gba Nàìjíríà fún wa. Pẹ̀lú gbogbo ọgbọ́n àti ìṣọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ èmi àti ẹ̀yin ni Ọlọ́run fi máa gbàdúrà lórí orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà torí pé ìyà ń jẹ wá gidi gan. Akọ̀rògbà gbéwèé dání ni ìgbé tó wà lọ́wọ́ wa yẹn gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ti sọ kò jẹ́ nǹkan kan. So kí àwọn ààrẹ wa kan jọ kó má di pé ó di bí election fẹ́ẹ́ dé tán wọ́n wá dẹ̀ pé wá ní kíní ẹ̀ ò ṣeé ṣe mọ́ kí gbogbo wa kó máa ṣe é ṣe lọ báyìí bá ṣe sọ yìí ni kó dẹ̀ má dúró ní South Africa nìkan gbogbo ibi tí wọ́n fẹ́ lọ náà tẹ́lẹ̀ mọ̀ pé nìkan òyìnjọ́ ni kí wọ́n tẹ̀síwájú owó tí wọ́n fẹ́ sọ nìyẹn olùwàgbàdúrà wa.
Sherry, comment tèmi ni pé it doesn't, there's no other name láti pè nǹkan tí Mr. Sowore bẹ̀rẹ̀ other than revolution. I don't know any other name to call it. But nǹkan tó ṣe pàtàkì tèmi fi kó ṣe pàtàkì ni pé kò sí quick fix nípa ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà. So tí a bá ṣe election ní 2019 tí take it back tí ò bá win ẹ má jẹ́ kó rẹ̀ wá. That is the most important thing as far as I'm concerned. Ẹ má jẹ́ kó, sorry, English. Kí n sọ English? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So if the election is held next year as planned, and take it back does not win that election, we should not be tired. We should not be despondent. We should not be discouraged. Because I believe what Mr. Sowore represents, I believe it's a spirit. And it was about time that we have that kind of spirit in Nigeria. That somebody leads it like this. It's a spirit. And that spirit is going to even outlive him. I'm sorry to say that. I can see that happening. That spirit that is in him would outlive him, because that's what Nigeria needs. I pray that one day he will become the president, but like Dr. Shola Erinyoye said, I believe it's a marathon. It's a marathon. We all have to remember that, and we all have to pray for him. I believe in prayers. We all have to pray for him. We all have to support him in every way that we can. That is very, very, very important, because the enemies that he's facing in Nigeria, they are very powerful enemies. We cannot deceive ourselves about that. And only God that has his destiny in his hands, only God can save him. And with support of all of us, to pray for him, to support him in any way that we can. Remembering that this is a marathon. He may not be president next year. I'm sorry, this take it back thing. I believe in it, but don't let us be too youthful about it. Eventually, he will be president. Thank you.
Yes. I think you asked one person there. Can you take him for just quickly, sir?
The last person one let me need the last person. Sorry. Because me were around the Lord now. Okay. So Emma Binu Sibubo Katimbaso. What Yoruba ni enu fifo kidoyamo. While we appreciate what it is that the movement has done in Pretoria and in South Africa, over and above what they've done now, I think what is very important is that we must be able to raise funds to sustain the organization. Hence, when Take It Back contacted me, I had an argument and said, what the movement needs more than anything else is funding. And that when we look at it, and I'm sorry if you don't agree to what it is that I have to say, but no offense is meant. What I said is, as the Nigerian community in South Africa, can we raise $1 million to support the movement?
$1 million?
No, forget about dollars. Forget about dollars. $1 million naira, $1 million rand is 30 million naira. Depending, yeah, it's fine. Depending on what conversion rates that we use. As a businessman, I said to them that we would spend 120,000 rands or thereabouts to host the aspiring president. But of what benefit financially is it going to be to the movement? That answer nobody's been able to provide. I don't know what the meeting of tomorrow is going to look like. But I believe more importantly
that we need to support the campaign by raising funds. You understand? Elections are not won on social media. You understand? A lot of us, gbogbo àwa tá wà níbí lálẹ́, tán bá ní pé kàkà èèyàn mélòó ló ní PVC ní òrùka pé márùn-ún tán ní PVC níbí lónìí. You understand? Okay, or bóyá wọ́n pé mẹ́wàá wá tán ní PVC níbí lónìí. PVC yẹn òun la nídìí láti fi dìbò ní Nàìjíríà. Now, a couple of people said no, but people in diaspora can talk to their people at home and tell them to vote for him on the basis that they have been the ones supporting the people at home. But the reality is that if you now coerce your people at home to vote, you're doing the same thing. My suggestion is you have a GoFundMe platform, which was even taken down at some stage, of which you protested and it came back online. Why can't everybody, you understand, decide to donate 100 rand? We're about 100 people, maybe, or thereabouts. We don't need you to donate $1 million naira. You understand? We don't need you to donate 1,000 naira if it is not convenient. But go onto the GoFundMe platform and donate whatever it is that you can donate to support the movement. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Because for him to fly to wherever he needs to go to, it costs money. For him to launch a political party, even if it is that's eventually what's going to happen, it costs money. Yes, it is good for us to go around, sensitize the people. The exposure he got on ETV is good, so that eventually when things start to happen, you understand, he will be known. But the most important thing, even in America, they need to donate for political parties to be able to excel, even though there's a cap on how much it is that you can donate. So my opinion is that from tonight, even before tomorrow, that we should try and do a fundraising here tonight. You understand? Let's do a fundraising here tonight, and let's see how much it is that we can raise to support his movement. You understand? So that is my own thing.
God bless you, sir.
So
I think earlier, unfortunately, that all of us are here and we need to put something to support this movement. Yoruba ni eno fifo okindu yamu yamu. And at the moment, but the logistics want to move from Meduguri to Yola, from Yola to Abeokuta, and also of that. It costs money, and we know that he doesn't have that money somewhere, stacked somewhere, and there's no oil block. Or is there any oil block somewhere? There's no oil block somewhere. So, you know, we're already doing that. Yes, that's what I know. But some of us, not all of us knows about been doing that, doing the contribution. There are some of us who are here, who are willing to do things. And I know some of us might not even want to announce here to say, I want big. Like I said, if a PDP member is here or APC member here, even though he support this group, but we want to support silently and all sort of that. So there are other ways that we can do it. But like they said, the movement is here. The movement will reach out to people to be able to support this movement, and I know whatever the movement, whatever donation that we make to this movement, the movement here, we trust them. They will be able, the coordinators there, they will be able to reach out to him without any doubt of maybe there is any financial misappropriation. Thank you so much. But I'll give him the opportunity now again to tell us also when he's leaving, when he's rounding up the area specifically, because like I said, everything is not money. There are people who can go do other things that will support this movement rather than to put money. We can use with our expertise, our everything in any way. Like I said earlier to him, I don't mind to go to Osun State now to go and mount a podium. And okay, but I can always do it myself. But so those are the things that we need to hear from him so that we can round up this session and we can have our food. Your Excellency.
Thank you so much, and I'm going to be very brief and short. Quickly, thank you for the last speaker. It's very true that we need support. You know, as Yoruba will say, "Owo ni keke." So, what is important is that people understand that it's not every donation that comes in terms of money. We have had people who donated vehicles that they have left in Nigeria to us. We have people who donate sound systems to us. We have people donate their houses for our local branches. People have printed posters to us, for us, and t-shirts, hats, all kinds of things. So, and people have also given us direct funding, and we have been very transparent about it. At the end of every month, if you go to GoFundMe, you know how much we raised. I think we've reached $2,000 so far since we started about 4 months ago. On our Nigerian account, which is with Zenith Bank, for those of you who have Nigerian accounts at home, most people have Nigerian bank accounts. You can transfer to us on Zenith Bank account, make that available. But there's also a South African account maintained by a South African group that you can donate to directly, and we trust that if you donate to them, they'll make them available to us. We went to a printing press today. Someone in South Africa has a printing press here in Pretoria, who has been printing for us for free, including the flyers we've had tonight. I want to quickly also answer the question of a brother who said that maybe we need 4 years to plan this. Interestingly, but not surprisingly, if you give these guys 4 years of planning, I guarantee you they will demolish you 2 years into it. They have figured Nigerians out. The reason we decided not to declare too early was also part of our own strategy to catch them unawares. Because if you had come earlier, you guarantee that the place is a jungle. I can tell you that. For those of you who have not been home in a long time, it doesn't take anything for them to do whatever they want to do. And nobody is answerable to anybody. They can do whatever they want and not. But in this particular case, we are conscientious objectors to the decadence at home. And we say we are going to, if necessary, we're going to lay down our lives for the country. It's worth it to do it for the humanity that is in the place. It is the reason why I have done nothing less than 26 states in Nigeria, traveling around. And only on 2 occasions did we have police around us. Because sometimes the protection that Nigerian police gives you is not as good as the one you can get from kidnappers. You know, I'm telling you, it's just better not to worry about, police security, because as they are following you around, they are telling their people on the other side that, look, what can we do to this? So we decided that our conscience would be the security that we need. And this has happened in a lot of countries around the world, including South Africa. When Mandela was arrested, he was alone in the car. You would think that considering what he was doing, you have this huge support network around him, or even some bodyguards. I don't have bodyguards. I tell people who say, "Oh, you want to guard yourself?" Look, at the end of the day, you are just increasing the casualty rates by having too many bodyguards around us. But where it's necessary, we do what is necessary. So, whatever you want to do in 4 years, we can also do it now.
Yes.
We have a chance now that might be brighter than a chance in 4 years. Let me say something to anyone that is sitting down here thinking about 4 years. The only reason we have the chance right now is because they shot themselves in the leg. They made some mistakes. That's opened the opportunity for us to uproot them. In another 4 years, they will never make that mistake again. In fact, if you look at the way Buhari suddenly got well and started acting, constructing roads, doing all kinds of things, you can imagine if he has another 4 years, he will totally blindside and fool everybody to think that you will forget some of the things that they know how to confuse you. They know how to plan to make you feel like things are happening even when things are not happening. They even have a way on social media now that they go on your wall, troll you, make you believe that things are going on and that the people who are critical of the government are the enemies of government. They will tell you that Nigeria has started working. If I didn't travel to Nigeria in the last 5 months, I would not know how many bad roads there are in the north. Now, some of you feel that the northern people are enjoying. The real poverty in Nigeria is in the north. Don't let us deceive ourselves. They have the destruction in the north is systematic and well planned. These, you know, the northern part of Nigeria is a social experimentation for poverty. I'm telling you. And they do that so that you won't have no guts to go near the place. So that they will become their own territory where they guarantee their 12 million votes. Because the moment they destroyed the north, they gave them poverty and some other dangerous cocktails that goes with it. And some of you know it. Anywhere that you take education from people, you are giving them ignorance. Anywhere you take health from people, you have given them sickness, both mental and physical. Right? Anywhere you take infrastructure from people, you have destroyed their ability to integrate and gather together, associate and move. So, their systematic destruction of Nigeria is also a systematic violation of our own fundamental human rights. Because where there is no road, there cannot be freedom of movement. Where there is no health or electricity, there cannot even be freedom of association. The reason we can meet here tonight is 2 reasons. Because there's electricity. Secondly, because there's some form of security. You're going to try this in Nigeria. As you are going one by one, the kidnappers are taking their own, armed robbers are taking their own. You know? The rest of you that are not kidnapped or robbed on the way will die in a road accident. Is that not enough? So, I could stay here till tomorrow morning and tell you the story of Nigeria based on what I've seen in the last 5 months. But beyond that, you know what I do in real life. It's fighting the cabals. That's what I've done with SAHARA reporters for 12 years. When about a year ago, Saraki seized my money. I told him in Yoruba that anybody otoshi. Now, Saraki has reached a point in Yoruba land. I say, I told him, I said, look, it's just the beginning. When we went to Ilorin, we had the largest gathering. 5,000 people went in the hall. That was how they started demystifying him. I guarantee you that by the end of this election cycle, there may not be a Saraki again in Kwara State.
It must not be.
Yes, and any one of you that is from Kwara State, I congratulate you in advance, but don't let down your guards. Don't let down, and the same will apply to the rest of you from Nigeria. Do not let down your guards. On this note, I want to adjourn this meeting, if I have the permission of the elders seated here, so that we can apply ourselves to what we call item 7 in the student union movement in those days, food. Thank you very much.